I watched this movie called Codename: Trixie, aka The Crazies, written
Yeah.
and directed by George A. Romero.
Mm-hmm.
A cool little film, a cool little 1973 low budge, like 200K budge film. It's like his third film that he ever did. He made Not a Living Dead, and then he made this other romantic comedy. I forgot what it was called. And then he made The Crazies. It was a nice little picture, nice little horror low budge 70s picture, which I really like. I really like that. Kind of see the development in his career to where he reached Dawn of the Dead,
Mm-hmm.
which is honestly like one of my favorite horror movies, my favorite zombie movie ever made.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of see like the building blocks that were laid out for George R. Romero to make like his other films, because and you can kind of see elements build up to that peak, because I think in Night of the Living Dead, that's like super low budget. He made it for like nothing, just with like his friends, but he had something to say and kind of had these like societal, governmental, commentary with it.
Yeah.
And you also see that with The Crazies, because The Crazies is about a town that accidentally gets infected with this like bacterial weapon,
Mm-hmm.
which the government tries to cover up as a vaccine, but it gets dropped on this town on accident.
Mm-hmm.
And people start to go crazy and get violent and stuff. But it's really a film about Vietnam and then like nuclear paranoia.
Mm-hmm. That's what I got. I came in at the end of the picture, and that's definitely what I was feeling, was this this of the time nuclear paranoia.
Yeah. That's exactly what was going on, and that's what the movie is really about. Even though it's an infected people movie,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really about sort of like America at that time, which is what I respect about Romero. Like, Romero's films always have something to do with America at the time. Like Not a Living Dead definitely has to do with kind of like more revolutionary type ideas, and then like government like mistrust and shit. Because after Vietnam, like people in America like switched over, and they're like, dude, we can't really trust the government anymore. Compared to like World War II, we had like America was like the hero of the world, and we can really trust the government. And then after Vietnam, it was like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Like, we don't trust the government. And Romero really does that with his pictures, with like the army people like coming in and like killing whoever's infected, no matter, even if they're like not infected, that they don't trust like the people, and people don't trust them. And in The Crazies, we get like this rebellion that forms to like fight the government, because they realize like, no, the government's like not going about, like, we can't trust them and shit. And that's like what's a very cool staple of George R. Romero in his films. And you can see that also in Dawn of the Dead and shit too. And everything's like a commentary on like America at the point. And there's not a lot of horror directors in that time that like did that, compared to like Wes Craven or John Carpenter. I mean, John Carpenter kind of had commentary, but they weren't doing it like Romero. Out of like the main three big American directors, we do Carpenter, Wes Craven, Romero. Like, Romero's like my guy. He's probably my favorite director that's like in the mainstream. And then we got people like I love like
Cronenberg.
Oh yeah, Cronenberg, bro. But my favorite director, like horror directors, are like Romero, Henenlotter, Cronenberg, lesser known like Lucio Fulci, Italian guys.
Yeah.
And then we have like, for me, like Romero is up there and shit. But yeah, I just like watched that. And
That social political commentary sounds a lot like Medium Cool.
Oh yeah. That was all in that time. Like, Medium Cool is definitely like revolutionary ideas and the shift in cinema from like the like old Hollywood to new Hollywood.
Yeah.
Those are ideas I want to explore on this show more too. More of the times and the social political, like the commentary about like, films can say a lot about the times we're living in and shit. What I mean?
Yeah.
And I wanted to get more into that with like our discussions.
Yeah, I always thought it was very interesting, the stuff that came out during the pandemic. A lot of people were really tiptoeing around the pandemic of like, oh, I don't want to date this. I don't want to put masks in the movie. You know what I mean? I guess I kind of get that. But I do think that, like we talked about earlier, I think someone's going to come out with some stuff that are of our time, of like post-pandemic, of the ramification that has on us as a society.
Yeah, I think Beau's Afraid tapped into that.
I do too, yeah.
Beau's Afraid definitely tapped into the post-pandemic feel, like, of like being stuck in your apartment, the paranoia, the anxiety, the having to now re-socialize with everyone after like being inside all the time and not talking to anyone, and people getting used to just working from their homes, and just like, we're not in the same sort of modern society. Like, if you think about like modern society, it hasn't even been around for that long.
No, dude. Like modern society, like as in like As in, like, what?
Like population going up, people moving to cities
Oh,
and
yeah.
shit like that, like socialization, or the way you meet people has totally changed, and we're still stuck in our monkey brains from like 40,000 years ago,
Yeah.
and all this shit has happened that we're not evolved to at all, dude. Like you would live in like a town of like you live in like a tribe of like what 40, 50 people that
Mm-hmm.
you would know your whole lives and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
now it's like 7 billion people in the world. Like you
Yeah.
can be a new person every day and shit. And
Yeah.
I don't know,
I
like
think it just hit 8 billion recently.
no way,
I think so, yeah.
no way,
Yeah.
holy shit.